In EastEnders, Peggy Mitchell runs which of the following establishments? Is it the Laundrette, the Queen Vic or the Beauty Salon? For your chance to win, call 1515 71 71 60. From Northern Ireland, call 0901 293 1192. Or you can text COMP followed by your answer and your name to 57111. And viewers in Northern Ireland can also text their entries to this number, that's 57111. Our lines will close at 5:30 today and entrants must be over 18 years of age. Full details are available on our website rte.ie/TV/competitions. Good luck and we'll announce the winner at the end of the show. Last year in Ireland, just under 200 children were adopted. Now, if you take that back about 30 years, the numbers were much greater. In 1976, over 1,100 children were put up for adoption, and one of these children was Tynan Hooper, and he has spent the last 10 years searching for his birth mother. He is so hoping that she's somewhere in Ireland today. He's hoping that she's watching the afternoon show today. So let's have a look at Tynan's search so far.
I first found out I was adopted when I was 5. My mum called me in from, I was playing on the street, and she sat me down and she explained to me that I was adopted. She made me feel so special. As a typical teenager, you're questioning everything, and I was like, I'm adopted. And I never really questioned it until then. That's when I started thinking, God, you know, I wonder why I was adopted, and I wonder why this woman gave me up. Mum and Dad were always very supportive. I'm sure it must be very difficult for them. You know, they're watching their child. I mean, I am their child, and they're watching the child query their life, and it must be very upsetting for them. I applied to the agency to come in and visit them. So I wasn't called until I was 21. There was a 3-year waiting period. So then at 21 I went into the agency and got my basic information. My mother, Mary was her name. She was 16. Her mother had just died of cancer. She was from the west of Ireland. She had 4 younger brothers. Father was 19. They'd been going out with each other for a couple of years. She became pregnant. Father was fairly supportive, but marched her up to stay with relations in Dublin to have the child. She called the agency a few times, said, look, can you try and get him to come up and see me? Because I know if he just sees the child, you know, he'll marry me and we can keep him. But he refused. She finally gave in and signed the papers. And they showed me an extract of a letter she had written at the time that basically reads, I've decided to go against my own feelings and have him adopted. I would truly like to keep him, but I know in my heart it wouldn't be fair to him. He needs a father and a mother. So my mind is made up and I know he will get a good home. She also mentioned at the very end that she'd been calling me Brian. It took me months to cope with it all and to take it all in. You question everything. I was this new person. I was this person called Brian. I should be living this person's life. I got a phone call one day in work, and it was from the agency, and she's like, great news, we've contacted her. 2 weeks passed, and I got the phone call one day in work. She goes, look, we've got some bad news. And I was like, okay. And she said, we've sent the letter and we've just confirmed that she's committed suicide in the last couple of days. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what have I done? Then I got a phone call, almost 3 weeks later, from the agency. Hi, listen, we made a mistake. She's not dead. We got the wrong person. I started searching myself, was because I had my basic information. I need to tell her that I've never blamed her. I've lived a fantastic life. I'm a very happy person. And if she wants to be part of my life, fantastic. If she chooses not to, that's fine, but that's my driving force. I need to tell her that I've never blamed her. That's what it's become. That's what I'm trying to do now.
And Tynan's with us now. We're also joined by Barbara Kane from the Irish Adoption Board. You're both welcome. Gosh, Tynan, it's very emotional watching. I'm looking at you, you've tears in your eyes, I have tears. It's very emotional watching that, especially when you see the Tynan and it's switched to Brian. and you're there going, that's the person I was supposed to be.
Yeah, it takes a long time to come to terms with that. When I first found out that my name was supposedly meant to be Brian, you start questioning everything. You start questioning your identity. All of a sudden, I started thinking, I shouldn't know my friends. I shouldn't know my family. I should be living in another part of the country. I should have a different life. So you do start processing all that information. You're thinking, God, it's just very overwhelming, because you do question everything. And as I say, I remember, seeing my family afterwards and thinking, you're not meant to be my family. I'm meant to have this other life. So it takes a long time to come to terms with.
But your parents are fab.
My parents have been a huge support, and my sister as well. And thankfully, I've had such a great support from them that they've helped me through it. I mean, because it is a lot of information to take on board.
Did it make a big difference to you, the fact that you got a lot of information from the adoption agency? Did it make a big difference to know that your mother didn't want to give you up, to know that you were so wanted?
Yeah, there's always going to be that element of why did she give me up? So I knew nothing up until the age of 30. I've been trying to get into the agency, and there was queues involved. So when I found out the basic story behind it, and I heard a story for the first time, it does make you feel a lot more secure, because there's obviously that fear of rejection, and it did take me a while to come to terms with that, and so I was relieved. I was relieved to know her story. And I remember walking out of the agency after hearing my story that day, and all I felt was just pure sorrow for that poor girl. She was 16. She'd been through so much, and I kept thinking, God, when I was 16, would I have been able to cope with what she was coping with? That was the big point for me, and my priorities started to change then. It wasn't so much as the search for me. I mean, I have a fantastic family. I'm not looking for a family, or I'm not looking for a mother. My priorities started to change then.
For her?
Yeah, because I think all of a sudden, as I say, there was a story behind it, and it was almost like watching a soap opera or a film.
Yeah.
I felt it was very strange. It was like I was watching myself in this other person's.
It's incredible what they had to go through back then. This is a common story, Barbara. I mean, you're from the adoption board, so you see this every day.
And we have to remember that the character of adoptions has changed so much in the last 30 years. Lots of birth mothers felt they had no choice in the 60s and 70s but to hand over their children. And it wasn't until the mid-70s and the 80s that we got rid of, through legislation, the terms illegitimacy, that there was welfare assistance for women to actually look after their children single-handedly.
What's happening now, though, that you're finding, is that the majority of people that are coming to the agencies are looking for either their parents or the children. Are the children? 69% of those going to the adoption agencies are the children looking for their parents, not the parents looking for their children.
Well, I think you have to again understand that when women would hand over their children, that actually it was seen as very confidential. There were many concealed pregnancies. In Tynan's story, we hear of his mother coming up to Dublin to hand over, in order to actually have her baby and then to place her child. So many women will have come from somewhere altogether different in order to have their children, and many of their family may still never know to this day. So it's very difficult for older women to come forward and actually,
Well, on that, what if your mother, like you were hoping your mother, now obviously you have her name, but we're not going to say it because it's all sensitive and private. But if your mother was watching today, what would you say to her?
The priority has changed for me over the years. I am not so much, as I say, looking for a mother figure. I've spoken to, thankfully for online, it's great these days because there is access to information, and I've spoken to several mothers out there that have given up their children in similar circumstances to myself, and the pain that they have gone through and the guilt that they have gone through. So my priority is now, has become, certainly over the last couple of years, is I want to let her know that I don't ever want her to feel guilty for giving me up. I have a fantastic life. I'm very happy. I've been brought up by a brilliant family and brilliant parents, and I just want to alleviate her guilt. Okay. That's become my big priority.
That's lovely. That's a lovely thing to do. You're going to help Barbara. What would be the next steps? How would you help Tynan go forward?
I think anyone coming forward can either go directly to their own agency, and I know that Tynan has already gone to his own agency, and sometimes it's good to keep going back to the agency because new information may come to light. The other issue is that there is now the National Contact Preference Register, where people can actually register. It's a preference register, it's voluntary, and either birth mothers or
the
children can come forward and register if they would like to have any kind of contact, so that then if their other party to that adoption comes forward, we can see that there's a match and then take it from there.
Okay, well, we'll put all that onto the website. We'll have all of those details. We'll stay in touch with you.
Great.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
See how it goes. Hopefully it all goes very well. And it's a lovely sentiment. It's lovely what you're doing. It's not for you, it's for her.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. As I said, we'll have it all on the website. There's details about adoption, who you go, what agencies you go to, if anybody out there is looking to find their own parents. Thank you both.
No problem.
Maura.
That's great. Thanks, Shana. Now.